As many of us know, life can be somewhat of a battle. It can feel like an ongoing battle, a constant struggle or a constant fight that we're having to go through. And it can be very hard to be focused and be intentional throughout our days. But the fact of the matter is that when we learn to live more intentionally, we can start to build ourselves and create a much brighter, much more optimistic way of going about life. That's why I want to share with you 5 simple yet powerful ways to live your life intentionally. You know, life can be filled with distractions, and a lot of times these distractions keep us from focusing on exactly what we want to create, what we want to be intentional about. So we've got to take a step back, being mindful with the choices that we're making and how we're spending our time. This is one of the most important things that you can start to do to live intentional life, is to really take a step back from your distractions and be able to observe what exactly you're spending your time on and what has got your attention. You know, to self-inquiry and ask yourself, is what I'm doing meaningful, or is it just something to fill in the time? Am I wasting a lot of time doing nothing and taking myself away from what I really want to do? These are important questions that we've got to get into a habit of asking ourselves, especially if we're wanting to live more intentionally and more peacefully and more in harmony with our true purpose. Learning how not only to use our time wisely and with the things that we want to do, but also time management is key to really getting all the things done that we want to get done. When you start taking control of your time and your schedule, you start to live a more intentional life. You start to really streamline everything that you have. You know, in this day and age, we are all having a digital calendar, maybe even 5, 6 digital calendars at this point. We can plan in time for the things that matter most to us, that bring us more meaning, and making more use of the time that we have by being able to streamline and be focused on exactly what it is that we are wanting and intending to do and what we're wanting to create in our life. Time management is a key thing to learn, no matter what age group you are, no matter where you are in your life, what status, it does not matter. Learning to manage our time, each and every one of us has the same 24 hours. It's just a matter of how we utilize it and what are we utilizing it for. So when you're starting to learn to live an intentional life, this is going to be one of the first places that you're going to want to look is, how are you spending your time right now? You might be surprised at some of the things that could be replaced with more things of what you're wanting to do. Now, embracing failure is a very important aspect of life in anything we do. It does not matter if it is a sports game that you're playing or whatever it may be. You want to learn to embrace failure. Failure is just a learning experience. It does not define you of who you are. I know that sometimes we can put so much importance on the failures in our life that we forget all the successes. When we start to embrace failure as part of a stepping stone or part of a lesson to get us to where we need to be, where we want to be. Also, I've always looked at failure and things that don't work out are just not meant to be at that moment in time. There's something to learn. There's an opportunity to grow. There may be other lessons there that you can learn from it. When you start to embrace it for what it is, you will start to move past it, because I know that as human beings, we get caught up on our failures. We start thinking about it too much. We start actually defining ourselves by our failures, and that's not who you are. Everybody fails in life. Everybody fails at everything, even the biggest experts, the people that are just have so much expertise in whatever it is. Even if you talk to any sportsman, they will tell you that they actually take time to reflect upon what they could have improved upon, or maybe what skills they still need to acquire. And this applies to each and every one of us in life. Just because you don't succeed, your first launch is not a success, or maybe your first business is not a success, or whatever it may be, it just may be that you need to go back to the drawing board to fine tune your skills, or maybe engage somebody that can help you, or whatever it may be. But learn to embrace the failures. This helps you live more intentionally. When you know your why, which is really behind your intention of why you're doing something, it becomes easier and easier to embrace these failures and don't look at them as setbacks, but actually look at them as stepping stones towards where you're wanting to go. Practicing self-care is probably the most important aspect of any part of our life. When you're wanting to live an intentional life, you've got to practice self-care. This is a must for each and every one of us. We have to take care of ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. When we do not take good care of our bodies, our mind, our spirit, our emotional self, then we are lacking our vitality and our optimism, enthusiasm to be able to see possibilities. When we do not make self-care a priority, you're going to really face yourself. You're going to get confronted with yourself, because if you do not make time for it now, I love that saying when they say, if you don't have time to take care of yourself now for wellness, just wait until you get ill. What are you going to do then? You're going to wish for your health and your wellness. Taking good care of yourself and being healthy, eating right, exercising, having very healthy social contacts, sleeping well, all of these things really make a huge difference. Learn to prioritize your self-care. That goes as part in conjunction with the time management that I spoke about earlier. Plan it in. If you're not exercising on a daily basis, if you're not meditating, if you're not doing something to take care of yourself on a daily basis, you're going to have to start planning it in. It is a priority, it's a top priority for you. So start putting it in your agenda so that way it gets done. You get to do it. And it's not about just completing it and checking it off a list, but enjoy it. It is a form of self-love and self-worth. It is about taking good care of yourself so that way you can be there full, optimal, and tip-top form for the people around you in your life. And my last tip for living an intentional life is really to surround yourself with like-spirited, like-minded people. The people that you are around and your support team is vitally important to you living intentionally, feeling successful, feeling happy, being fulfilled. It's not that they are responsible for your happiness or your fulfillment, but whenever you have like-minded, like-spirited people that uplift you and support you, it's going to make a huge difference. We teach people how to really relate to us, how to really engage with us and interact with us. When we are with a group of people, with our friends, with our colleagues, with everybody that is on the same wavelength and same frequency, we can start to live intentionally. If other people are living intentionally around us, it's going to help support us in our intentionality and also in our purpose. So you want to really look at what kind of support group you have around you, what you're actually doing to nourish that. And maybe you need to go out and meet people like this. And with online now, we can connect. It's so great because we can actually connect with people from very far away, from across the world, and be able to find those like-spirited and like-minded people. But whatever you need to do to start living your life intentionally, remember that it's you that sets the course of how your life goes. How you respond to things in your life is up to you. It all matters on how we look at it. Our mindset is very important. Our perspective is very important. If we see things as possible and we see things as achievable, then we can start to really focus and retrain our mind to live more intentionally. Thank you so much for joining me today, and be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.